Alright, once I have my grain direction, my orientation, my boards all figured out, what I can do is I can go ahead and start marking out for the biscuits. And what the biscuits are going to do is they're going to make sure that the top stays on the same level as one another when it comes time to glue up, but also it's going to give it a little bit extra strength. Okay? And so I've marked these boards, so again, if you come back or it takes more than one day to get to the step, you know which way they're supposed to go. So I marked them with an up arrow, what boards go, what edges go with what other edges. And the next step that you want to do is you want to make sure that you want to get it about flush, because remember, we only have a little bit of play left dealing with final length. So when it comes time to glue up, I want to get it as square as possible. So that starts with laying it out on the biscuits, the biscuit step, laying it out as square as possible. So I want to kind of flush up my end. Now, where I want to locate these biscuits is approximate. You don't need to measure at all. And what you're going to do is along each of the joints, you're going to make sure that you go in about a fist length, about center, and then about another fist length in. And that'll tell you where your biscuits are going to go. So again, it's just approximate. You don't have to worry about sanding off these marks. They'll come off when we plane them and then sand them. So you don't want to push hard on them, but what you're going to end up doing is, like I said, a fist length in, about center, and again, a fist length in on the side. Once you have that all situated, you go ahead and set these off to the side. And so here's the edge that's going to be facing my other board. I'm going to bring that towards me, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to biscuit that. And for demonstration, I'll clamp this down, and notice that when I'm clamping it overhanging the edge. The reason being that in case my board I accidentally made it too thin or any other thing like that, what you have is you want to make sure that this, the bottom of the biscuit joiner isn't actually on the table. So if I loosen up this clamp, yeah, there's a little bit of space in between here, but in case, I'm on some dirt or some other chips or anything like that, or these tables aren't necessarily the best, but I want to make sure that the face of my, or the fence of this biscuit joiner is actually on the face of my board, okay? And that's going to be flush so that it's not actually resting on the table at all, but the measurement is based off of this plate right here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and clamp that back down. Again, making sure that the edge of the board is overhanging off the table. It doesn't need to be a whole bunch, just about ½ inch or an inch. And when you use this, what you're going to do is I always tell kids, you're going to line up the red mark with your pencil line. You're going to place your hand on that plate, and what that ensures is that it's going to be a 90-degree biscuit joint, okay? Because you don't want to end up going down at an angle or down like this at all. And when you use this, you want to make sure that you have the trigger on, push it in, it's going to make the cut, let it pop back out, wait for it to wind down, and then move it out. Otherwise, sometimes kids will get in too much of a hurry. They'll just want to do all three of them so they can continue moving, and they won't wait for it to retract all the way or wind down, and they're end up pulling out, and it rips across their board, okay? And then you have to deal with a big gouge on your edge. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'll clamp down both sides, and then we can go ahead and continue making the biscuits. So all this is, again, is lining up your red mark with your pencil lines. Move on to the next one.